BXB. It's in the game.
Hey guys, it's me Ben back with another one of my quick video reviews, and quick because this is far from the first time I've looked at a Battlefield game on the Xbox One, and here we are in 2018 with Battlefield V or 5, I think they're both valid ways of pronouncing this title. Yeah, by EA and DICE, as is always the case, and to be honest, at this point I'm thinking Battlefield could do with taking a year off and like a reassessment of where it's at. Battlefield 1 last year was a really excellent shooter. I really enjoyed the package that was put out for us then. And Battlefield V is just as good as Battlefield 1. However, where Battlefield 1 is now with all its DLC and the maps and all the extras that have been added in, it's a really fantastic experience. And Battlefield 5 feels comparatively early when you put it up to Battlefield 1, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously there's a lot fewer maps, obviously there's some changes, and you're seeing sort of an overview on the video right now of the menus and what's in here, and there's a single player and there's the kind of typical multiplayer suite, and there's a battle royale mode that will be coming early next year, though it's not in there at the moment. Of course, it having a single player is what sort of sets it apart from Call of Duty's offering this year, which is interesting, and we'll talk about single player very shortly. But yeah, as a whole, the package feels a little bit bare bones compared to where we're at currently with Battlefield 1. Obviously, the game starts in a typically grandiose manner. But one of the things I really like about DICE and EA is how that they approach these historical conflicts with a lot of reverence and understanding of the cost of these wars that they're setting their game in. No longer are the video game interpretations of these historical conflicts frivolous and throwaway. They really look at the human impact of these giant world wars. Obviously Battlefield 1 did that really well last year, and Battlefield V does it just as well this year with its single player offering. It does a thing where it tells these stories that we haven't perhaps already experienced a great deal of in World War II set video games. We get these slightly sort of vignettes, quite short campaigns, and at the time of launch there are 3 distinct campaigns available in Battlefield 5, and they look at different aspects of the war, like I said, that we haven't really delved into before. So things like the SBS, things like the resistance in Norway, and other aspects to do with, say, the French pushing back from the south of France. Conflicts that we haven't seen in films, we haven't seen in TV, and I found really interesting. And they were quite well written, they were quite well acted. However, not a lot of time is given to those characters because this is a Battlefield game and you want to get into those big set-piece conflicts. They actually sort of are set around these sort of spoke hub environments, so they're sort of quasi-open world, and they do a fairly good sense of conveying the scale of World War II and the different sort of theatres that the war was fought in, and I enjoyed them for the most part. I definitely enjoyed them. They, however, are not bug-free. This game is actually quite buggy, and it was very buggy pre-release in the EA Access previews that I played quite a lot of in multiplayer. Post-release, a lot of that's been fixed. However, you're watching right now a pretty hilarious bug I experienced in the single player, in which a plane I was unable to locate. I had to shoot down all the planes and it disappeared under the horizon. I was like, well, what am I going to do with that? I walked over and I found it sort of parked in a gully, which I had to then shoot with my rifle until it exploded to continue the objective. Yeah, not perfect, kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, but for the most part I enjoyed the single player. However, single player isn't why you come to Battlefield. You come for its anarchic, huge scale multiplayer combat, and that is here just as ever, though it's in that sort of modern take, especially with the ways in which you get into the vehicles and stuff. They're not found on the map, you spawn into them and then sort of fly or drive into the battle space. But that's how it's been for a while, so we won't dwell on that too much. But yeah, those grand conflicts are really conveyed very well with the inclusion of the new Grand Operations mode, which are these incredibly long multiplayer battles which can take between an hour and 2 hours for what is ostensibly one match. They are fought over multiple maps across multiple game days, in which you are pushing and pulling against the enemy over various objectives, over various capture points, or things you need to blow up or defend. And I think they're portrayed fantastically well. While it's a big commitment to play that kind of experience, it's certainly the kind of thing that brings you to Battlefield and sets it apart from, say, Call of Duty, is its scale and its sort of theatrical combat experience. There are, I think in my first game I had one of those moments where, a plane is shot out of the sky and lands basically almost on top of me. I survive, I jump out over the wing, and then I'm shooting a dude and dropping him immediately. Predominantly I play it as the healer class. I really enjoy that sort of support role in the Battlefield games, going around giving people medkits and reviving them and such. And yeah, that's a big part of the game now. You go down, you can get revived by anyone, but the healer class can bring them up quicker. So there's still a much more of a sense of push and pull, even over the smaller conflicts in those larger maps, where you're pushing forward, your friends are dying, your colleagues are dying, your fellow soldiers are falling on the battlefield, and you're going over there and risking life and limb to revive them to keep the push going. And I really like that. The maps are well designed. There's a lot of variety in them. They're taking inspiration from the single player campaign for some of the locations. I would like to see a few more maps, and I'd like to see a more even distribution of the maps throughout the multiplayer playlists, because you can find yourself stuck playing the same things over and over. But they are so big and there's so much in them that you can certainly spend a lot of time getting to know them. We're back to class-specific weapons in Battlefield, which is fine. There's a leveling system for each class, and then there's a leveling system for each weapon. So there's plenty of things to unlock and plenty of things to progress. There is a microtransaction store in the game. However, there isn't an ability to buy that stuff with real-world currency yet, though it is coming. So there's cosmetics you can unlock and customize your various characters. You can have male soldiers, you can have female soldiers, you can dress them up silly or serious. You can do all kinds of things with the camos and patterns on the guns and things like that. There's plenty of stuff to do and spend time on, and what will be real world money on. At the end of the day though, I just enjoyed the Battlefield experience. I like that it's historical, it feels reverent to the conflict, they take it seriously, and yet it's still a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what they do with Battle Royale. From the teaser trailers we've had so far, it certainly looks like a moderately unique take on that genre, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing it. Obviously, they've gone forward and said that all maps and DLC will be free, so that they don't split the player base this year or going forward. I don't think they're going to do that with any of their shooters, which I really respect, and I'm glad EA is looking at how they offer the multiplayer experience a bit more carefully now, and they're not just throwing you to the wolves of microtransactions. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed my time with Battlefield V or 5. I think it's worth checking out. It's certainly an exciting experience, and I really like the World War II setting. It plays well, it looks good. Yeah, it's a bit buggy, but aren't they always? So because of that, I'm going to give Battlefield V 3 out of 5 stars.
BXB. It's in the game.